One Retail about? We're going to discuss that and everything in the course of today, in the course of at least an hour or maybe 90 minutes. Frankly speaking, we do not intend to explain any corporate events like half-year results. We're going to have a dedicated session on that occasion. I would like to use this opportunity to announce our call based on the 6 months results on the 17th of August. But as of now, it's One Retail and only that. In order to liven up this rather intricate subject, we are going to hold this event in a non-standard format. It's a kind of fake Q&A or fake interview, if you wish. My colleague, Ms. Valeria Andreeva here, hello, who's head of communications and everything pretty that is with M.Video, is going to be the One Retail skepticist asking questions. Some are particularly intricate and challenging, while my other colleagues, who are going to be introduced as we proceed, will be trying to fend off her questions and respond to them. So hopefully this event is going to be interesting and exciting for you. And it's like Ray Bradbury radio shows. You know, we believe we have achieved the objectives that were in front of us while prepping the show. Once we are done with the fake Q&A, we'll proceed with the Q&A proper, and we'll be very happy to answer all your questions from your side now. Now, that's it with the introduction. Over to Ms. Dagmara Ivanova, Managing Director of One Retail. Dagmara, over to you. Hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining us today at this event. Indeed, that's a new format we're trying. And before we begin talking about what One Retail is about, and before we try to explain the concept from a little bit different angle in greater detail and with a greater degree of granularity, I would like to remind all of you today about M.Video. Understandably, you all know our numbers pretty much out of the top of your head, but let's try to take a look at key facts about M.Video-Eldorado Group once again. I believe we're talking about three major aspects here, considering the business, starting with we are the consumer electronics retailer leader, leading not only in Russia, but also becoming part of top 10. We are part of top 10 worldwide. This is explained by the fact that our portfolio includes 19 million identified active customers as at the end of 2020, and two very strongest brands in terms of brand awareness, and they have very high NPS indeed. These ensure good attractiveness of our stores for the 19 million active customers who visit those stores pretty often. One other element is about being the best in online consumer electronic retail. We are not only the #1 consumer electronics retail in Russia with 33% online market share in 2020, but I would like to take you a little bit forward and consider the first 6 months of 2020. We can really be bold enough to suggest that the share is up to exceed 35%, frankly speaking. All of that is explained by the fact that M.Video-Eldorado is very well developed in its online sales, and the share thereof contributes 60% of our total GMV. One other element, which is no less important, is about being efficient in sales. With last year's GMV standing at around 500 billion rubles in total, we demonstrate very sustainable numbers in EBITDA, standing at around 5 to 7% EBITDA margin. In 2021's first 6 months, we have demonstrated a 24% year-on-year growth. That explains a good balance between growth on the one hand and efficiency on the other, which we're very happy to adhere to. Now let's flip over to the following page, number 4, and see where we're moving towards. We have explained that on a number of occasions, but it is very pleasant for me to read out the numbers. So let me have this joy. By 2025, M.Video-Eldorado intends to double its business and reach 1 trillion of GMV. I'm not going to speak of the financial KPIs on the right-hand side of the page. As agreed, today we are not discussing the financial side, but you can take a look as a matter of reference. This is a reminder that we have a very good and sustainably good level of financial metrics. In the meantime, I would like to focus on the left-hand side, operating KPIs, the business proper. Let me explain how we intend to get the 1 trillion target. Obviously, it all revolves around the customer base with us. From 19 million currently, we intend to grow to 25 million, but the key thing is about the shares within the active customers. We intend to ramp up the number of one retail customers. And there you go, one retail mentioned for the first time. In 2020, we had 42% of one retail customers within the total active ones. We intend to reach 85% in the meanwhile by the year of 2025. And again, I would like to refer you to the first half year results in 2021. The share of one retail customers is as high as 57% already, while the total number of active identified customers is up in the second from 19 million as at the end of last year to 19.8 million as at the end of the first 6 months this year. So we're nearing the figure 20. This is going to allow us to ramp up our mobile platform-based sales, and that is in turn going to boost our growth further towards the 1 trillion. The thing is, one retail customers have a totally different frequency. They come in more frequently. Regular customers do that 2.6 times a year, while one retail customers are more frequent with 3 to 3.1 times. Another major element is the average ticket. One retail customers have a much higher average ticket as compared to the regular ones. And if you keep going, multiplying the numbers, if you are into maths really, with very simple calculations, you could get to the target number we're looking up to. Now comes the question, why are one retail customers so frequent? Why is the average ticket so high? Let's continue to the next page so that I could explain the one retail thing proper. Now, this gives you some specialized terms, of course, because one retail is more than just a customer's seamless experience with their customer journey. It's a technological stack with the mobile platform standing at its center. The mobile platform is in turn comprised of two apps, the consultant app and the customer app. So that element of the story ensures the high numbers explained earlier. And let me explain how we drive it. One retail benefits three sides. The customers, of course, our vendors, who also gets the benefit of access to the mobile platform, and the third beneficiary is us, of course, as M.Video-Eldorado Group, the company. Let me explain how this operates. We invite our customers to join the mobile platform, and that enables us to gather more data about the customer and thus provide them with a more personalized offering so as we hit their needs better. Once with our mobile platform, customers get exactly what they need. They get access to our, physical stores offline or online sales on the internet. They can access both regardless of where they physically are. They may be on their sofa or they may walk into our store. They have the access nonetheless, and thus they can enjoy their personalized proposition. And the vendors win because they have good knowledge about our clients, and they know what they can offer to each client thus boosting their sales. That's how it works. Hope this explains it. If you don't quite follow, let me try to do that in a little bit greater depth. That's why we're having this presentation today. Clearly, one retail discussion requires more granularity, and I would like to introduce, with great pleasure, my team. These three are going to stand for One Retail values, and they will try to explain to you a little bit better the composition of the technological stack in question and its operations. On the surface, it may look rather simple, like two apps. What's of that? Consultant app and customer app. But what's behind? What's behind it is a major piece of infrastructure and a great deal of development. Hence over to Dmitry who is in charge of business to retail and the consultant app, Mr. Oleg Rogozhin, who is covering business to customer and customer app, and Stas Gorshenin, who handles customer experience at large. They're going to give you more details. I really count on it that we don't really bore you with some technicalities. We'll try to deliver that to you, of course, and get to know from your feedback how we have managed it at the end, whether that's exciting for you as well to listen to what's under the hood of One Retail. Over to the team. Thank you. Thank you. Let me take over. Thank you, Dagmara. Let me take over. Hi, everyone. Again, as Maxim has explained, I'm the One Retail skepticist today, so I'll try to ask you very intricate questions, which would enable a holistic view of One Retail in the course of this presentation. Dagmara has mentioned that the share of One Retail customers is growing. Hence, that's a very important part of the story for us. Over to Stas then. Who are One Retail customers and do they really need One Retail? Thank you, Valeria. Well, we are playing the trump card up front. Indeed, One Retail customers are some magical people, but in order to dig down to them, we need to get out of the box a little bit and consider who the clients are in general. What are the customers? We generally have two types of purchases made with M.Video or Eldorado for that matter. When we know nothing about our walk-in customer, they walk in, they buy some batteries, and they walk out. Alternatively, we maintain some sort of a customer trail. For a verified customer, we know at least something like a CRM ID, the phone number, and the first and the last name. So, as Dagmara said, the number of such customers is growing from 19 million at the end of last year to nearly 20 million by now. If you take these clients on the average, they have made one purchase in the past 12 months. So the number of such clients is nearly 20 million, and the average number of purchases is 0.1 times. So when we started doing One Retail strategy, we decided to consider whether their behavioral patterns are somehow different. In fact, One Retail customers is a little bit different. Why so? Because they are e-commerce addicted, as I would call them. They enjoy not only buying from us, but also using our mobile app and the website. We have decided to make another step of drill down into One Retail core customers, like Rutherford dug into the core of the atom and identified the red circle, which is exactly the nuclear energy feeding our business looking forward. The red circle represents One Retail core customers. They are addicted not only to buying from us, but only using the mobile app when they have the mobile platform available. Their purchase frequency is 6.3, which is 2 times more than the other customers, or 2.5 times as considered to the active customers. So we have tried to do our best to ramp up the share of One Retail core customers of all active customers total. Now, if we flip over to the following page, you'll see another key finding identified in the course of the survey. we see that one retail customers have better frequency, that's clear, but not only that, they get a higher average ticket, representing double benefits for us. And the numbers are here on the left-hand side. Last 12 months, at the end of second quarter 2020 and 2021, you see the average ticket for one retail customers is growing faster than the other customers if they have the mobile platform available, and if they have some digital experience, they buy more and they buy more frequently. That's it in simplified terms. Our aspiration is to increase the right-hand bar in the midterm. So we don't underwrite any commitment, but we would like this red bar to be all red, so that all of our 25 million active customers are all one retail customers. Does this answer your question, Lara? Yes, we provide customers with a mobile app and they shop more frequently and with a higher ticket. That's clear. But why phygital experience? Why do they really need a physical experience instead of a simple vanilla marketplace solution, which are available in the market? Why not? Oleg, well, that's a very clear question and a very straightforward answer. So far, we are not avatars or virtual personas. We are live people. So we have clients who also use physical stores on top of their mobile experience. One retail is being with our client wherever they are. It seems a little bit confusing. Let's clarify. What's the current customer journey for those people who have stores and online app available? Dima, can you help? Yep, that's a very exciting subject and I can talk for hours on end, but if you ask me to put that in a nutshell, well, here we go. Currently, the customer journey is that of a hybrid model. It's digital based, of course. And to give you more clarity, like you can shop online through the web or through the app as any other vendor would offer. But on top of the traditional online sales experience, you can get additional consultation through digital tools. That's why we call it digitally assisted consultations. We're talking about chatbots and video consultants. You are at your home, you have the mobile app on your device, and you need to seek advice, either in general or regarding some very specific product. So you can very quickly reach out to, and then comes this link with the phygital world, linking the physical store infrastructure. Our processes are built in each store in a fully digital model. They're based on the mobile platform, and they are based on both customer and consultant experience. It's all seamless and it's native experience. It doesn't require any extra training. The consultant mobile app gives them all in one, everything they need, all information about the products, the clients, and the capabilities of such clients, and our capabilities in delivering the product to wherever they want it. That's the true phygital customer experience model. And one more thing. These examples of customer journeys are not finite. They get complemented all the time. And I'd like to share with our listeners today that one of our product teams has completed a design study, and they have studied with a focus group 2 particular design cases. With this preliminary effort completed, and that's absolutely relevant for the quality of the product and the quick rollout. So those 2 cases are currently being processed. They are absolutely phygital. For example, a scan and go experience. When a customer knows what they want, when they have the mobile app on hand, they can simply scan the product, scan the price tag, confirm payment with a finger, with a face scan, and that's it. And alternatively, if they want to seek consultation, they can bring in a consultant digitally. So that's a great example of a digital experience. And for you to get the full picture, just to extend on the Gemara's words, Importantly, customer journey for one retail customers is not a finite way from A to B. That's an infinite line instead, which changes direction for every customer depending on what they do. Now, what kind of reach out means they use. This may sound a little bit boring, but let me clarify. Each digital contact of our customer with one retail provides data for us, which we use in our data lake. And once the contact is in our data lake, the data lake would help clarify and specify and adjust future recommendations. So this ends up with very great formula. The more our customer interacts with us through one retail and the mobile app, the more data we have in the data lake. The more data in the data lake, the more precise our recommendations would be. The higher is the conversion. So that would incentivize further contacts with us to have more digital data, and the cycle would repeat continuously. It's not that simple with our clients, but clear. Thank you. We hear about technology, we hear about one retail customers, we hear about the mobile platform, but can you please be more specific? What is one retail? Is there any quick definition? Yes. Thank you. One retail is the mobile platform, of course. This is the customer app and the consultant app, which are linked between each other. Thirdly, it's the technological stack in between, supporting not only both apps, but also establishing a great architecture as the foundation, boosting of development of new features and fast tracking the rollout, but also ensuring safety of the data exchange. And that's in part a piece of mindset as well. Physical space in our stores and lots of technologies available online, complementing each other for the convenience of our customers and better business efficiency for us, so that routine tasks could be tackled better. That's the mindset. But Valeria, I have a question to you. Do you encounter in your day-to-day experience any cases when technologies and the mobile platform could be capable of solving your pains? Can you think about it? Like when you leave your home, yep, I would like my coach to get all my data after my training session, and then they would make the next trainings plan based on that. Fantastic. That's exactly the one retail mindset. You're in. That's what I'm going to say to him next time I meet him. Okay, now let's go through all these concepts one by one, starting with technology, given the fact it serves as the foundation. Stas, I would like to ask you, what's the technological stack you're talking about today? Um, it looks very nice indeed. But in order to explain it, we'll need a dedicated session with a similar number of slides. We'll definitely have it, but frankly, that's the target audience will be a little bit different, probably. Well, we have several principles underlying this technological stack. First and foremost, we are obsessed with a lightweight interface. When I say lightweight, like Valeria, you're a user yourself. You use mobile apps, let's say, for taxi service or for banking, who are, of course, colleagues and partners. When you swipe left or right, you see all sorts of features appearing from the left or from the right. It's easy to implement, but we have 16 teams working to ensure that the interface remains lightweight. What we mean here? Well, easy to understand for our customers and consultants in the stores. And Secondly, no special maths calculating all this availability of SKUs doesn't run on the front end. This is all based on platform solutions, which is a great term and a great thing. These are no monolith either. We try to ensure that the back end of the app remains powerful. while flexible at the same time. We don't use any monolith this solution. As you can see from page 14, we're great fans of cloud solutions. We don't try to install anything heavier onto our servers and then try to integrate that and pay heavily for servicing and maintenance. No, we are all in for modern programming languages and open source solutions. Question, do you also program yourself? Yeah, that's in-house, 320 developers who only focus on the mobile app, and we have more working on the rest. Like when clients interact with the mobile platform and get this seamless experience of mobile payments and cross-platform experience and the customer CRM ID shared across various systems, we get beyond the ordinary requirements to security of all these transactions, customer data, and the likes. So we don't overlook this element of the business. Many of the product teams have dedicated IT security personnel who resort to most modern solutions available on the market, like SES, for example. And we implement those in the products to counter any phishing attacks to ensure security of the data. When we target our red circle of customers, one detail core customers, we have a check mark with all the 3 million customers that they have allowed us to share their push notifications or emails with them. So the architecture is very complicated indeed, but it is very lean vertically. The logics, the rationale is very straightforward. So that's a lightweight front end based on robust back end based on modern programming languages and open source solutions with security underlying all of that as a major hygienic experience. That's really important because you share your mobile phone, you share all the other data, so you really wish for that to remain confidential. Let's move on to the mobile platform and discuss that. What is it comprised of and how does it operate? Dima, over to you. Can you explain? Yep, at least let me start. Let's dig into that. An important question which would probably rise with our audience today is why we have two apps. Why do we need two separate apps, the customer app and the consultant app? Why don't we use a single app with different roles in it? Well, importantly, these apps have only two things in common. One is the word app, you can't take that away, and the mobile platform, which Stas has just explained. Both apps run on the same mobile platform, but everything else is absolutely different. Getting back to your question, customer experience. Well, frankly, you can split that into 4 steps. Both are available are available with customer app and consultant app, but they're different depending on their type of use. As Stas has explained, the architecture behind these apps enable fast tracking new features, their development and rollout, but the teams designing those features for the benefit of our customers and consultants are different. One team would target the external customer, the ones spending money and bring our revenue, while the other part of the team are targeting internal customers, our consultants, who serve the interests of external customers, of course. So those customers of ours who may be on the road, in store, or at their home have the mobile app to their service, and they know that the further stages could take them to the purchase successfully, and they get the personalized recommendation, they get personalized offer, and get a seamless and safe checkout. That's for customers. Now, consultants. Once a customer is internal, like a consultant serving the external customer, the situation is different. Those consultants need to get permission from the customers to authorize them. Once completed, our consultants become the guides for our customers towards the seamless world of mobile online retail. We'll explain everything to them, and they will try to make sure that our customers install their own customer app. And that's why the applications are different. That explains how they actually shop depending on where they are. That's why the apps are different, but the goal is eventually the same. That is for the purchase to be completed. Okay. Mobile sales demonstrates that customers really find it easy to manage their app. We can see that from the sales data. But what about the consultant app? Let's start with check-in, right? Yep. Check-in is the most exciting bit. It's mobile phone based 100%. All of you are used to getting authorized in your mobile apps, of course, but M.Video-Eldorado is the first company to authorize the consultants as well at the start of the customer journey, and the by consultants. And the sooner our consultant authorizes the customer, the easier it will be, the faster it will take them through the customer journey, and the better retention they get. Once our consultants help customers to set up the mobile app on their phones, they effectively register the fact they have recruited a particular customer into the one retail space. Speaking of the numbers, each fifth walk-in has been authorized by a consultant, and the average ticket of such customers is 25% higher as compared to the unauthorized customers. So the fact check-in is the gateway towards one retail, which significantly improves efficiency of further transactions thanks to this customer journey within the app for both customers and consultants. Okay, I understand the motivation of consultants, but as a customer, why would I want to give out my phone number to someone I don't know in the store? Well, you have a few options, like we have some very beautiful and handsome consultants. So maybe you want to get their phone number, but that's one option. Actually, let's recollect what the customer journey is about. If you don't have this check-in, no authorization, no question, like, how do you start your journey? How can I help you? Or can I help you? Something like that, right? Yep. And you wish to say in response, no, thank you. Well, at least that's what we see from the stats. No, I'm just browsing, you can say. Yeah, of course, you can say I'm just browsing. So when you get this question, can I help you? It doesn't really help, and clients would seldom say, yes, I'm looking for this and that would ignite a dialogue. No. Now, let's feel the difference. If the consultant is equipped with our mobile app, and they have a better customer proposition when they check in, the client, when you start with this, hello, do you have our bonus account? No. Let us run that, and I'll take you towards your personalized price and your personalized offer with a welcome bonus rubles package. Or alternatively, do you have a bonus account? Yes, I do. That's superb. Can you give me your phone number? Can we see how to make your purchase as beneficial for you as possible? In a nutshell, using this check-in step in a consultant to customer dialogue enables us to ensure that the contact and the consultation is as rich as possible and as useful for the customer as possible, hence the gap in the average ticket. Okay, we've got in touch. Now they know I'm Lera. That's my name. What happens next? Let me handle that. Lera. Yep. Now they know you're Lera. That's your name. But to take it further, in order to take it further, you need to know that a lot had been done before, like tens of thousands times more. We gather customer data very actively, and not only that, we are capable of processing these data. So if we decide to put on the consultant's screen everything we know about you, they would scroll for 2 days on end. We don't do that, of course. Our personalized offer and personalized recommendations and our data scientists, well, or data satanists, as they say, they would pick the most relevant data about you and put the data on screen. You see an example here on the page. They know your name is Lara, but that's enough so that the data engine generates your personalized recommendations most fitting to you across several dimensions. For example, let's say you want a new smartphone, and we clearly know that you're really keen on covers with cats, phone covers with cats, but you hate Spider-Man, for example. You hate spiders, so it's not really worth offering you a Spider-Man case. That's a very simple example, but it really works. Then again, based on your browsing history and other data we know about you, based on what you've checked out on our websites, or alternatively, if you hate websites but rather walk into our stores, and we would know what you looked at if you had a consultant available. So we know you're into kettles, for example. You haven't bought a kettle yet, and the consultant you're talking to would get this on their screen. Most likely, Lara is going to need a kettle, and that's exactly what she's looking for. Well, that sounds simple, but there is a lot of technology attached behind it. We're not about offering a phone case to you or just a kettle. It's about offering what you would mostly like in terms of color, or let's say limiting the proposition to those kettles physically available in this particular store so that you could buy it upfront. The engine must really calculate that on the run. And again, last but not least, we know your Lara and we get another record. Lara has been in this store. She considered a smartphone and a case did, and we use the data to enrich your profile. The more we know about you, the more efficiently we can provide you with personalized recommendations looking forward. Okay, thank you. The most important thing is to ensure it's safe. Well, okay, I get my personalized offering, but most people make their decisions, especially when it comes to costly purchases, not only based on what consultants tell them in store, but also they need to compare the prices and see the benefit of this particular transaction. So what's the story with the pricing, Oleg? That's quite right. Oleg, clients, customers look at the pricing side of the thing as well, so they get an additional discount. They get a personalized price if they use the mobile app, of course. Okay. Could you give some color? More color? Well, based on the customer's track record, we would provide them with a personalized discount targeted exactly at them. We also demonstrate the final price, which is very transparent and includes the discount or some bonus ruble spending for this client as well. So they see all the bonus and promotional elements, so they see the final price. Hence, we invest less into general promo and lose less of a margin. This ensures very targeted marketing and very personalized marketing for us. Question, so how do we make money then if we give a discount to everyone? That's exactly the secret. We are offering a discount to you personally based on what kind of customer you are, what you purchased earlier, what's your track record is, and how much money you have brought to us, how much revenue you've generated. That's exactly about the margins. We don't do general promo. We don't do segment-based promo. We make targeted, personalized promos. Question, is that in-house or have you borrowed it from somewhere? Well, no other player in consumer electronics has a similar solution. So the initial idea we tried to implement the early cases We had dozens of surveys and focus group studies, and took us quite a while to identify the golden standard of this product for both customers and consultants alike so that it could talk in a common language. Okay, next page then. Turns out that I see my prices on the app if I get checked in, and that's what I get from the company. What would the consultants see? Consultants see the prices, of course, and particular discounts for each product. That's very exciting experience. When you walk into a store and consultants check you in, and then they would say, your personal price for this product will be this and that, and here's your discount. You look at the price tag, and you are very pleasantly surprised. So that's a kind of gamification element, because another person standing by would really want to approach the consultant and find out their personalized price. So then again, when we get this question, do you provide discount? We'll always say yes, absolutely. And we'll know that discount will still be beneficial for our business. Does it work? Yep. If you open up the next page, you'll see what the numbers are. You can't really cheat the numbers. We started with a personalized pricing proposition on the mobile app because that's the most personalized bit of the front end. The conversion increased by 1.5 times, clearly telling it works. Now we have focused to have it on the web front end as well, thus ensuring engagement of the whole audience, first on the web and then on the mobile app. And in the second half of the year, we'll focus on automating of advertising products. And in the first quarter 2022, we'll have some AI elements and machine learning so that we could really be really good in segmenting the clients and making even better personalized propositions with a discount. Okay, that's fine. I meet a very handsome consultant. They know I'm Lera. They offer cattle to me. I get a pricing proposition, which is very attractive. And then I would go to the cashier, right? To wait in the queue. No, that never happens. Full stop. We have implemented some innovative mechanics for innovative for consumer electronics and generally retail in general. And customer app can forward the order into the consultant app can forward the mobile to the mobile app of the customer the order, like the consultant would register the client's order talking with the customer, and the customer would see that same order in their mobile app. They will see the composition of the order and the discounts, which you have just heard about from Stas. They see two buttons as well: pay with Apple Pay or Samsung or Google, whatever, depending on the device, or simply enter the digits of their banking card. And that's also safe. And then they make a quick and safe payment with no queues or lines, thus closing the deal and completing the transaction. Once they decide to buy, and if the product is on the shelf in front of the client, then the consultant would take the product. The consultant would clear that, demagnetize it, and the customer is welcome to leave the store up front with no waiting and no queues. As I'm speaking, I'm thinking our listeners may get to the question, why do you really need to have this over-the-air transition if the technology is available for NFC data exchange between two smartphones? If you tap two smartphones together, many of you hear about this technology, of course. Well, that was our thinking initially. That was the plan early on, until we did a focus group with an in-depth interview with both consultants and customers before we have done the customer journey map, before we have trying that in real users. So, but for that, we would have made the error, but we didn't make the mistake. In a nutshell, only paying on the customer app gives them confidence in the discount applied in the composition of the order, and it's also the safest way to pay. And it also ensures some social distancing, of course. Hence, one retail orders, as we are convinced, is absolutely the best way to make a payment. Yep, you see that in your mobile app, and you just make your decision and you pay. That's convenient. What happens if the customer is undecided? They say, everything's fine, that's a great TV or laptop or kettle, but I need to talk to my wife first. Okay, that's absolutely normal for a customer, but many retailers overlook it. Process-wise, it would be ideal if each customer would know what they actually want. They would know a model for a TV or, I don't know, kettle or a laptop or a nine, and they come to the store and say, that's the model I want. But the world is different from that. We have lots of customers who use our stores as a touch and feel experience. That's what Stas has explained. That's an important element of transacting. So there is nothing wrong in the fact they don't want to buy here and now, but it is wrong for us to lose contact with that customer up until the point in time they leave our store, which is exactly why we have the next feature. It's called One Retail Basket. Our consultant advises the customer, but they're not ready to make the decision, oh, that's a gift, I need to talk, I need time to think, etc. In the past, our consultant would say, okay, see you next time. But now it's different. They make a one retail card and they say it's already in your email, in your app, on your account. So if you open that up, you'll see those goods that we have browsed through and we have looked at together. It may, and then if you make your mind, you can make your choice then. So that really works superbly. That's a great example of taking care about both customers and consultants. Let me explain. We care about our customers because we send to them the list of products they have browsed. Understandably, everyone remembers what they browsed, like their top line iPhone or a Samsung phone or any other product with a brand. But can you really recollect which washing machines you have browsed through? It's a big white box, rectangular one as real. So on the website or on the mobile app, you really don't recollect. If you open up the website after visiting the store, you try to think, okay, which washing machine did I look at? And you don't know. So we do take care about our customers when we share the list of browsed goods with them. And that's also caring about our consultants. Once they have established that digital contact and put that in the digital lake, and once the customer gets the products, or at least part of the cart, our if the customers buy the goods within 15 days, the consultants would get paid for that. So they get a bonus. The key synergy is about the fact that 30% of all one retail cards were purchased later after help from a consultant. That's not, I'm not joking, 30%. And one retail cards are further followed up by push notifications and emails to increase the likelihood of the purchase. So, okay, no customer left confronted a washing machine on their own. Oh, the thing with cashiers doesn't want to stay behind with me, frankly. Stas, can you say that in the near future, if everyone has smartphones, maybe cashiers would disappear completely? But I think you're rushing it a little bit. I don't know. But I like your thinking, frankly. If you think in depth, why do we believe so much into these easy ways to buy and pay? Well, because that transacting participants Um, well, there is an emotional element of parting with your money on the one hand, but while getting the product you need on the other hand. And you have the cashiers, some of the heritage hardware, if you wish. I am sure some people may recollect that in the past you really needed to get a printed airline ticket. You couldn't shop for them online. I still recollect that. I'm sure many people don't. Same here. So responding to your question, yep, our aspiration is exactly that, 100% of transactions to be run on mobile platforms. How we're going to get there, we're still thinking to detail and plan out. But when 98% plus of our customers have the mobile app, and they will be addicted to the new means of shopping, then the in-store experience and the customer journey would be different. We'll no longer need the cashiers. But that's not the most important thing. Most important thing is that the role of offline stores is changing in the environment of one retail universe. The new ways to shop and place an order give us multitude of opportunities which we're piloting these days. And the role of offline stores would be different in different dimension. I sometimes talk to the stores and say, okay, let's think about it. You're confronting a customer 6 feet away, but let's imagine you each make a step back. And let's imagine the customer makes 1,000 steps back. What has changed then? You can still carry on talking to the customer in the digital framework. The customer still can get the product in their cart thanks to the consultant. Consultant can always say, thank you for shopping with us, get back when you wish. And then the customer can always close the deal. So there's your one retail order. You can take that and pick it up at any store. The customer may be in Moscow and the consultant may easily be in St. Petersburg, and we're now testing that very actively. So video consultations and chatbots, all of that enables us to push forward based on online on one retail orders and one retail carts. That would allow us to develop new stores and new consultants. We have a great and emotional picture in the following page, number 28. So the store is still a great place to have the touch and feel, but on top of that, we provide them with new digital experience and get them into the red circle of one retail core customers. Now they have a reliable mobile platform to access consultants from anywhere you are. So the next customer journey would be different for you. So the probability for red circle customers is 2.5 times higher for them to shop again. So that's the utmost essence of one retail. Dagmara has already explained this briefly. Well, we really enjoy this page. We demonstrated on numerous occasions. I hope you don't get bored with that. We have tried and tested really every word here because we explain it to each other so very often. Just kidding. So one retail is a technology based on a mobile platform, combining the benefits of both worlds, online and offline. It's important to have the three actors: customers, we as the business, and vendors all benefit from that. Well, frankly, I have started shopping more frequently, and everyone, and one of us can feel that. But once you get personalized price proposition, you really get involved with that game. So that is beneficial for the business world because we get more frequencies from these customers, we get more revenues, and it's very smart for us to give them with a personalized discount rather than offer everyone a 10%. And the third beneficiary here, which is not frequently mentioned in this presentation, but nonetheless, it's important. What do vendors have? Vendors have their own R&D apps. R&D labs. They have production facilities. They have talented engineers and a great power of their brands. If it's A brand or B category brand, and the trust they enjoy. Like sometimes people say, don't use brand this, but I frequently use brand that. We often hear that from the customers. What vendors don't have, with some unique exceptions, is access to customers. So once you buy a washing machine, it's exactly about it. So, the vendor loses the customer once they have installed the washing machine at their home. Um, Retailers still have access to that customer with personalized offers, email lists, and the likes. We are going to foster that relationship with last mile projects and some rich content, which we'll be taking from the vendor to the customer. And we would like to do that seamlessly and uh, seamlessly through the mobile app, trying not to annoy the customer too much. That's it in a nutshell, what One Retail is about and how we treat that on the back end side with the architecture and in terms of product management. A few more things to explain to our listeners today, some bits and pieces that don't feel One Retail, as we have explained it so far, but they still represent some important components of it. One Retail is the brain, let's say, but the brain also needs some lungs and other organs to be more efficient. So I'd like to explain two other exciting products we are currently developing. One product is absolutely stunning in terms of its business effect, and the other one has a great potential. Over to my colleagues. Okay, we'll stop someone because he'll be talking for hours. Yep. Okay, let me explain the first one. That's a case I'd like to share with you. We have converted every store into a digital dark store with express delivery in 2 hours in every city of M.Video-Eldorado's presence. An exciting story. Back in October 2019, what did it say? Client in October 2019, we started a customer survey. So by April 2020, when the lockdown hit us and prompt delivery became an essential thing for the customers, we already had that in question. So what's a given? Our stores, which are effectively warehouses, and customer needs who would like to get the goods as fast as possible for some reasons. I'm going to develop on that later on. So we had two objectives. One is to have a convenient native product to buy, place an order and pay for it for the customer and ensure SLA of 2 hours in terms of delivery. Now, what are the options? The easiest one, not the best, but the easiest one is to hire a lot of couriers and buy lots of cars and have in-house delivery. That's costly and that's inefficient and that requires huge money. Another way would be to have taxi aggregators who are already established players in prompt delivery service on the market. So we have started to go ahead with that solution. But we quickly understood that each aggregator would have their own specifics. Some would have a different API or a protocol. Others would be very particular about the types of products they deliver. So we developed a digital dark store platform, in fact, serving as the aggregator of taxi aggregators on our end. This allows us to manage expectations. And this has allowed us to reduce the number of operations of our consultants to just one action: hand over the goods to a courier. From the point in time the customer clicks on the front end of the app, the product would be available in the store within 15 minutes. Then can you imagine that you would like to attend a birthday party and then you suddenly recollect you have completely forgotten about the present? What can you do? Well, very easily you can place an order with M.Video-Eldorado, and with prompt delivery service, you will get the gift in your hands by the time you come to the party. You're happy about avoiding the unpleasantness. The person throwing the party will be happy about getting the gift, and we're happy about satisfying your needs. Well, frankly, I'm sharing my personal case with you because I was throwing a party once, and one of the guests admitted to receiving the gift in front of my door, effectively. So our capabilities today are much broader than the actual demand for this type of service, and in order to make it more popular um, across the market, we have planned three rather large-scale advertising campaigns with broad outreach, showcasing exactly that, prompt delivery. Okay, so as everyone is thinking how to expand the number of pickup points and increase the number of SKUs, we have simply attached a taxi service to our stores, and we quickly deliver. We don't say taxi, we say express delivery. Okay, express delivery. What here? Dima, it's time to get back to this case. Can you give an example of one detailed mindset in practice? Yep, I would like to share my personal case as well on top of Oleg's words. I really need a very specific type of coffee, and I use express delivery. I use that as a client quite frequently. So we needed a lot of coffee for the next case, which I'm going to explain to you now. Are we talking about video in-store video analytics and how we have come up with a very effective solution? Well, we developed that in-house and we carry on with this development. Three cases are readily available now. We use video analytics in some of our stores that either help service clients' needs here and now and improve conversion thus, or they help run transactions like the cashier and product handout, so we're managing the queues, or they help make decisions in the back office on the planogram and merchandising. The first case is the one we delivered with identifying a lonely customer. We see how the number of lonely customers is coming down. Lonely customers are those who are not helped by consultants within 1 to 3 minutes. Either consultants fail to approach them or they fail to approach consultants. One other is about queue length notifications, as is the case with lonely customer. We have a chatbot in Telegram. So we share a photograph to explain where the customer is. We share the location, and that is also data for our data lake. Question, is that AI driven? Absolutely, 100%. Humans are not involved. As soon as we launch this thing in store, it would operate on its own. And then heat maps, of course. Store heat maps is a side effect. This was not a critical part of our case upfront when we were considering what we could tackle with their help. We got heat maps as a kind of byproduct. But that is an efficient tool both for the stores and for the back office, helping develop the space in stores, the planograms as we call them, and even for marketing communications. Our marketing function is capable of entering every store real time to consider what kind of ad they can place where without physically going there. That's it. Question, video analytics is a novelty on the one hand, but it comes at a cost at the same time. Very frequently, the rollout is not paid back. Is it really worthy? Yep, I would like to confirm. For the past couple of years, we have been actively searching for a partner in video analytics. Having run multiple pilot projects, we have learned a lot to understand why we cannot launch a box solution. But now let's consider what makes video analytics costly. It's about the equipment, um, bandwidth requirement, hardware bandwidth requirements, and licensing for the actual service, and the rollout. So we have decided to adhere to certain principles for our video analytics platform. We know quite clearly what our stores need. So we implement the use cases that we require, and they need to prove efficient first. As I have just explained, we have three cases for now: lonely customers. Let's say the consultant fails to approach, or the customer would like to avoid the consultant. That's one case. And there are a bunch of cases currently in development, really in demand by the retail. They will be in demand in the stores because they need it, rather because they come as a byproduct from the box solution. So we really wouldn't want to upgrade thousands of cameras, because they would require lots of investments into hardware. And thirdly, we're particularly capable of saving the bandwidth with non-standard video analytics solutions, and the way we feed data into the neural network. It's about the frequency, the FPS. So we can keep our current cameras. We don't want to invest into new hardware. We'll learn to operate with different generations of cameras with varying bandwidth in varying regions of Russia. And the third principle is to ensure that each store would need to run video analytics on its own. We decentralize this function. Each store would handle it on their own. Having run those pilot projects, we understand that each new store is unique in terms of video analytics. Let's say if there is a different kind of background which would not allow you to run the coordinates in video analytics, and that's it, you can't really have it. But the store would be the best source of knowledge of their planogram. They would know where their customers grouped, so they understand where they need the alerts. And then each store can decide on the location where they would like to keep track of the customers. If they would want to run a pilot with a particular vendor zone, they would want to keep track of that. So these principles really make it much, much cheaper to roll out the video analytics. And we can proceed to the next page. So here's the end of the puzzle, the final piece of the puzzle for you. We have decided to run video analytics based on platform as a service. Let me explain what we mean here. With the help of this solution, we're going to have the capability in the very near future to offer video analytics not only with M.Video-Eldorado. So effectively, that solution can be carved out. What this means for the product team: we have a product card which is fully in line with the product standard by M.Video-Eldorado, and that has a vision. So that vision clearly says it that in 2023, we are to run experimental commercial partnership, at least one partnership with another retailer, with the proof of value for the customers. So once the product team make their decisions in each sprint, when they consider how to develop this or that feature, this or that function, they need to keep it at the back of their heads. Okay, wouldn't that be counter to this objective in the midterm? Would we still manage to have a commercially viable partnership by 2023? That's how the decision making is driven for the team, and that's why they have these principles. So I would want them to be repeated now. We care that only useful cases are chosen for elaboration and targeting. We try to ensure cheap rollout, so We have current equipment usage and internet connection savings for video analytics in each store, and we ensure a user-friendly interface for employees with and so we try to run on varying generations of cameras and varying bandwidth of the internet channel. With all of that in mind, it becomes clear that we would like to build a new business line out of it. So prep your cameras, video analytics is coming. They get it right that we are done with all the key aspects now, and we can sum it up now. Stas, can you take over? Yep, sure, but please don't interrupt me, if I may. Yep, colleagues, we have tried to be as frank and open with you as possible in trying to explain how this works and why we really believe in digital developments. Our powerful platform-based solution is not at all heavy. It is lightweight, but nonetheless powerful, so cool it is. It allows us to implement totally new tools and create really seamless, truly seamless experience for our customers, regardless of whether they shop online or offline. We often have to handle that question in investor conferences, explaining, okay, like all the digital metrics will be very different in the future. Traditional retail is still following some traditional metrics like traffic, customer conversion, average ticket, whatever. Divide an average ticket by the average price or the average number of positions on the ticket. That works for traditional retailers, but Bima has explained this to you. A customer comes over into a store, talks to the consultant, then they get back home to seek advice from their family, and they decide to buy, let's say, a robot vacuum cleaner. That's digital. That's digital. And the skill of seeing these metrics, the skill of following that customer journey to motivate the sellers somehow to keep the digital trace, stuff like that. So it's part of the digital experience. So we really don't want to leave it running as it is. We are not going to marketplace or pure e-com. We're going towards digital. We're really meeting the challenges of modern times with the help of very unique products while creating unique and innovative things like one retail card, for example, which would be based on our physical stores and a distributed network. Thank you. That's superb. I believe we're ready to proceed with the Q&A session. Maxim, would you like to take over? Yep. Thank you, Lera. Lera started as a skeptic today and now seems to be fully supportive. We really hope that all the other participants who are not becoming in fewer numbers, despite nearly 80 minutes of talking from our side. So we're looking forward to your questions. And the first question is coming from Ms. Daria Zakharova. I suggest that Dagmara would be the one to answer all the questions, and should the other colleagues have any follow-up, they would step in as members of her team. So Daria is asking this question: if all checked-in customers get a discount, would that mean that the price for non-checked-in customers would be higher than the market? If so, wouldn't that scare new clients away from video? Okay, let me start answering that one, because I believe I'll give some time to rest in my team. They have really been fighting for one retail, and as I was listening, I was really enjoying the new format. It seems like an exciting experience. Responding to the question, well, the first thing is this. The core price calculated as 100%. That's the base price. We keep monitoring our prices and prices from the other place. So the basic price for identical things is that what you hear from Oleg and Stas. Let me touch upon that a little bit to explain why we get the margins. If we provide a discount uh, from the market price downward, the thing is that if the discount is applied to the market price across the board for all customers evenly, then that would be significant enough to cover all customers, including those who would be happy to buy even with a only with a significant discount. If we instead come up with a personalized discount, then it will be different depending on how ready the particular customer is to make a purchase. We can vary the discount, so the total size of the discount overall would be less. That's the point. That's exactly the secret about having a good margin with personalized price propositions at the same time. Now, responding to a question, whether the online and offline payment. Hold on. Dagmar, you have started answering the second question, but only we can see that, right? Let me read it out. If payments through if a customer is paying through their app when physically shopping online, what's the point of keeping the metric of offline sales? Would you consider as offline saying only the payment in the cashier? Okay, let me explain. Let's take a physical retailer with offline sales with physical stores. Then we add one retail on top. So effectively, the same company becomes an online player, technological player, and maybe this needs to be called a technical retail or stuff like that. But the point is quite clear. So that's a kind of our major goal. That's our major goal, to ensure that all sales, or pretty much all sales, go online, because you really don't care that much where the customer physically is. What's important is that they shop on the online platform. We have explained the customer journey to you a number of occasions, and it's much more intricate than just walk in, buy, walk out. In fact, there are many more steps to follow. Some customers still incline to buy in the store offline. But my team has tried to explain and convince you that we try to recruit each customer onto the one retail platform so they could see the benefit of operating through the digital platform rather than being the old school cashier only vanilla customer. So one retail can convert any traditional retailer into a digital retailer. We are the first case with consumer electronics, but in fact, it can apply to any retailer, and it doesn't really matter what exactly is sold. So everything goes online. Thank you, Dagmara. It's very nice to hear, and I see some hands being raised. So I'll give the floor to those raising first. The next question comes from Mr. Alexander Gnusarev. Alexander, over to you. You can unmute yourself, please.
Алло, слышно меня, Максим?
Hello, can you hear me, Maxim? Yep. Hello.
Это Николай.
Keep going.
Да, привет.
That's
Ну, не видно, да, я
Nikolai.
так понимаю?
Okay, but you can't see me, can you?
Ну, не видно, говорю, да?
You can only hear me, but you can't see me.
Да,
That
я хотел,
depends on
чтобы было
you.
видно. Ну, ладно, я и
Well,
так задам
I wanted you
вопросы.
to see me,
У
but okay,
меня
I can
три таких
still
больших
ask
вопроса.
questions. I have three major
Наверное,
questions,
первый
frankly.
к
One,
ребятам, которые продуктами занимаются.
those
Это по среднему
who
чеку.
handle
Он
the
значительно
product,
больше,
it's
чем
average ticket.
по
The average ticket
non-one
is
retail клиентам.
much
Я хотел
higher
узнать,
than for
какие
non-retail
операционные
customers,
драйверы, вот, то, что
non-one
чек
retail
выше, чем в
customers.
другом
What are the
сегменте.
operational
Может быть, это
drivers
ассортимент, либо
boosting
это
the
цена,
ticket?
но
Is
будет
that
полезно услышать.
the price or
Второй
the product
вопрос,
mix?
наверное, к
Would be nice
Дагмаре
to hear.
тогда.
The other
Это
question
по
is to
промышленности.
Dagmara. Hold on. Let's handle
Хорошо,
those questions
давайте
one by
так.
one. Okay, let's do. That will be easier. Okay, Stas, can you respond to the first question then? Yep. So why the average ticket is high with one retail customers? Oh, well, that's a mix of factors. One is about a combination of factors. One is about the mix. It's kind of 50-50 split. One's about the mix, the other is about ticket breakdown. We see customers coming back more frequently. And a very simple example, let's say they buy a costly smartphone from us, they get bonus rubles onto their account. They come back to us with the bonus rubles, but buy 3 or 4 other units. I don't know, some small household appliances or accessories, headphones, whatever, to complement their smartphone. That's a good example. And I wouldn't say now as to the exact distribution in terms of the drivers. I don't have them available at hand, but we did look as at the end of the year 2020 when we were drafting our strategic model. So it's a combination of the following drivers: average price with a single UPT on the one hand, and very complex breakdown of the average ticket.
Я
That's
понял,
on the other
хорошо,
hand.
спасибо.
Okay, thank you.
Тогда
That's
второй
understood.
вопрос
Next
по
comes my other
проникновению.
question about
Интересно узнать,
the
как доля клиентов OneRetail
penetration
отличается в
ratio.
M.Video и Eldorado, то есть сколько
What's the
магазинов или
difference between
транзакций,
one
какое
retail,
количество, какой
M.Video,
процент уже
within M.Video
перешли,
and Eldorado? How many
и за
stores
сколько
are
лет
now one
вы
retail,
планируете, что или
and
вообще
within how
планируете ли,
many
что
years would you expect
M.Video и Eldorado, они придут к
M.Video and
какому-то общему
Eldorado to
знаменателю по
get
проникновению OneRetail?
some common denominator in terms of one retail penetration? Let me try to handle that question again. It's great to have 2 brands within the group. All one retail solutions are first piloted with M.Video and then roll them out with Eldorado. This allows us to have a good understanding how we can roll out one retail with a new chain. So speaking of one retail customers, clearly there is a difference between M.Video and Eldorado in terms of the technological stack and its implementation. With M.Video, it's rather well implemented to a great degree. With Eldorado, however, we are just starting, and the number of one retail customers, those who check in with the platform, is yet limited with the app and the site. While with M.Video, we also have the mobile platform. So only M.Video has the consultant app as well as the customer app. Then it's going to be rolled out with Eldorado. One retail cards, is what my colleagues have already explained, are available with M.Video. So as we said, the share of one retail customers, all active customers, stood at 42% as at the end of last year, while as at the end of the first 6 months this year, it's 57% already. We see how this gradual rollout of one retail elements gives us an increase in the share of such
А
customers.
вот та цифра, которая
Question,
57 у
and
вас по
the number of
компании в первом полугодии,
57%
ее
across the
можно как-то
board,
понять, какая
and
она
as
в
at the end of
M.Video
the
и
first
какая
6
в
months, can
Eldorado?
you give a breakdown between M.Video and Eldorado? Well, I don't think I can give you the answer upfront. I don't have the numbers out of the top of my head, but it's mostly about M.Video and less so for Eldorado. So I would say about 60 or 70% is M.Video and some parts is Eldorado.
Ясно.
Okay, clear.
Наверное, тогда последний вопрос
One final
с моей
question then
стороны.
from my
Это
side.
по поводу роста доли из
which is
42% в
about
85%, которая у вас в
your growth
стратегии,
from
я хотел бы
42%
знать,
to the
ждете ли
85%
вы, что
prescribed in the
будут дополнительные
strategy.
инвестиции или
Would you
траты,
expect any
когда по мере
additional
роста
spending or
этой доли?
investment
То есть вот
required
интересно
to
услышать,
increase the
будут
share?
ли какие-то доп. Капекс
So would you
инвестиции, да,
need
я не знаю,
some
может
extra
быть,
capex
в улучшение инфраструктуры
to improve the
у
infrastructure
ваших селзов, да, в магазинах,
for your sales
или
teams,
разработка более мощной
or
платформы?
help
Я вот
develop
просто хотел
a
бы понимать,
better
если доля растет, то какие
um,
инвестиции и будет ли
mobile
как-то меняться,
platform.
может быть,
So what
структура мотивации
is the
персонала в
investment
магазине, или
required, and
стоит ли нам
maybe a
ждать,
change
что
of
посещения
incentive
будут
plan
больше,
for
что и компенсация
the staff
сотрудников
in
тоже
your
будет
stores?
больше,
If the
или как-то
ticket
вот здесь
gets
мотивация
higher, would that
поменяется?
mean that they get more bonuses, or would you change their motivation somehow? Okay, let me start from the last question of yours. There are so many elements in your last question, so let me start with the final element of that. Staff incentivization. Indeed, we're changing that already. Why so? Because, well, we are changing the thinking of our consultants. In the past, it was transaction driven. Like you enter into a transaction here and now, and you don't really care how the customer would live from then onwards, because it was focused on transactions in store. Now, one retail allows consultants to reach out beyond the store immediately. With the help of the app, they can close a deal with a customer standing in front of them, or just like Stas said, the client customer can take one step or 30 steps back, get to their office or to their home, but the consultant is still capable of closing the deal thanks to the one retail platform. In that sense, it would be exciting for the consultants. That's the change of incentive I'm talking about. Would be they would be more incentivized to build a longer term relationship with the customer. So it's not about one-off transaction. It's about some emotional interaction, so that these purchases get repeated. The technical capability is there thanks to our platform, so that motivation would be changing, and that affects not only the motivation but also training. That really requires to change the thinking. It's not only face-to-face sales, and it requires some understanding. It's different. So that's one thing. And another thing, better compensation to the consultants. What's important for us is the shares, like how much we invest into our staff as a share of the total GMV. In that sense, we believe the numbers will be coming down rather than up, because as we transition to one retail more, there will be high GMV. Why? Because of better frequencies, average ticket, and the likes, as explained. So the situation will be more attractive economically. And one more thing, what you're asking about, capex. That's what I can tell you. When drafting the strategy, we clearly understood the kind of investment required in implementing those solutions. That's for sure. So as we have been working on one retail products, we see that we are very much aligned with the initial plans. So in that sense, we remain within the strategy in question. And so far, we don't feel there would be any extra additional investments required for the rollout. So far, it's all going to plan. From my side, let me remind you, our strategy suggests a capex of less than 2% of the GMV, less or equal. And as Dagmara says, that would suffice so far. And one more thing on the capex side, investing into marketing or into consultants, again, it's 5 to 7% of the GMV. That's all in. So I think it would be too early to consider any
Ясно,
further
спасибо большое.
breakdown.
Наверное, это
Okay,
все вопросы
thank
ко
you.
мне.
That's it then from my side. Okay, then comes the question from Maria Lukina, BCS. Hi, Maria. She's asking what our plans are to reach to 25 million one retail customers in the midterm. Is there any difference in one retail strategy with M.Video and Eldorado? Yep, I see Stas is also eager to answer. Let him do that. Yep, that's a very cool question. Why? I would like to answer because I know I'm a real true believer and I know how we're going to do that. First and foremost, we'll keep rolling out those features we have been doing so far on the mobile platform. Our backlog is very clear for quarters 3 and 4 this year. It will be a better customer journey with one retail. That's express closure and personalized pricing proposition across all fronts. So that puzzle is going to be put together and people will start becoming more involved. Like once customers see how much they can save with a check-in, then I don't see the question anymore on the screen. That's because they have answered it and I have removed it. Okay. So then would come Eldorado, our phase 1 with one retail at Eldorado. Well, the question was, is there any difference between M.Video and Eldorado in general? No. When you say platform, then we mean that the platform really doesn't care whom it serves, be it M.Video, Eldorado, any other brand, whether we onboard it or whether it gets onboarded. In general, there is no difference. There will be some technological or architectural path, if you wish, that would take us towards one retail with Eldorado. Mid next year, we'll have the mobile app and one retail card, and then all the bits and pieces available with M.Video rolled out with Eldorado. So it's a platform with M.Video standing a little bit further to the front. Okay, Marat Ibragimov is asking similar question. Do I get it right? That the mobile app will be the same for M.Video and Eldorado. I believe you have answered. Yep. Okay. Next question from Marat. Do I get it right? You'll be selling your video analytics to third-party retailers, food retailers or food retail or non-food? I believe you have explained that. Thank you for the question. Okay. Thank you for the question. Our product analytics team does have this objective. By 2023, we need to have at least one commercially successful integration with a third-party retailer. So that's for the product. That's what motivates the team. That's how we make decisions to get the infrastructure right. But the marketing proposition has not been received yet, has not been drafted yet. As one of the development team, I can tell you very frankly, it's really the same to us. It will be equally exciting for us to work with food as well as non-food retailers. Okay, thank you, Dima. And the third question from Murat, can bonus rubles obtained with M.Video be used with Eldorado or the other way? This could be a strong cross sales driver across the group. Okay, let me handle that. As of now, we don't do it. Well, generally speaking, that's an operating tool effectively to manage this. We currently position both M.Video and Eldorado as two completely different chains for the benefits of our customers, so they see the difference in CVP. And based on that, based on that. There are certain discrepancies or controversies from the viewpoint of our customers, I believe, in terms of communications, but this doesn't mean we would not be considering that operationally at a certain point in time. So we always try to measure that client economics, factor analysis, stuff like that. So we may apply these things from time to time. Okay, let's take a few questions from the speakers. Artur Galimov, Sova Capital, please go ahead and mute yourself. Yep, good afternoon, colleagues. Can you hear me? Yep, that's fine. Thank you. Great. Thank you for the presentation. I fully agree with Dagmara. This is an exciting format, indeed. So it will be difficult to suggest this time round. We failed to grasp one detail. You know, this joke about explaining it so many times that you finally understand it yourself. That's exactly the case. I have a question about personalized pricing. As far as I understand, you're ready to provide higher personalized discounts to those customers who have a better track record, who have already earned a discount with more revenues they have brought and more margins. So is there any particular targeted margin for every customer? Is that flat? Let's say, or can say that the customer behavior would define the degree of that discount. Is that correct? Thank you for the question. Well, in fact, it's a little bit more complex. With our track record and our vision of the customer, like based on the in-depth analysis and the data science, whom our data scientists, whom we call data satanists, we understand how the customers may behave looking forward, depending on the actual offer we make to them here and now. So we look both towards and backwards, with forward and backward. With some customer segments, let's say some customer segments have not made their contribution into our margins and revenues, but based on the data available, we know they may well bring a good LTV. They may be worthwhile financially for a year ahead, like more than a different customer who has had some experience with us. So, in fact, as we decide on the size of the discount, we consider many factors. It's not about the margin barrier only. This includes some prediction looking forward and many things, frankly. This also includes our understanding on whether the customer is ready to make the purchase based on the discount they get. So we're talking here about lots and lots of parameters we analyze in order to understand what kind of discount will be available to what customer. Okay, thank you, Arthur. Further comments? No? Yep. A quick question, if I may. How about the payroll? It now seems that consultants buying video rather than store assistants, as they used to be called, are a more complex story, so to say. So they require more knowledge, hence it must be reflected in better bonus, and not only that, also higher fixed part of the remuneration. I hear from you that all your forecasts already factor in these HR investments, but is there still any like-for-like shift in the fixed part of the remuneration with this rethinking of your business paradigm, having moved towards one retail, and also with the fact that you require more from your consultants now. It's not only consulting about the goods available on the shelf, it's also a special someone who would be capable of giving the full service, so to say. So that will be the best mix of their knowledge and your mobile apps, at least, to put it simply. Artur, thank you for your questions. Indeed, that's a great one and a very exciting question. So um, this opens up a good opportunity to explain how we think about it. In fact, the requirements are changing, not becoming more complex, but changing. In the past, a consultant had no technological support available on hand, but nonetheless, they were supposed to know everything pretty much by heart with all the technical characteristics. Everything, all the promos currently being run by the company, they had to remember the combination of all these characteristics and explain all of that to the customer. We know that the customer would not be eager to wait for the consultant to go somewhere. That was the case in the past, up until the point in time when they started getting the app. And now the app is very helpful. Consultants have a different role these days. It's more about soft skills and some psychological interaction, psychological support of the customers. So the question is, they no longer have to know all these numbers. Now all they need is to know how to work with the app, which is very easy because it's so native, so easy to understand, as you hear from my team. And now what's in the forefront is about this psychological contact with the customer. Consultants need to support the customers, and customers find it important to share the responsibility for making the purchase. We try to recruit people who are capable of interacting with customers and train them. We have a digital academy internally which does training. Like this spring, we have dedicated a lot of time to develop empathy with the consultants. Took about a month or so, and now we can train about 8 to 10,000 people. So we can run exams, we can test them, we can assess them. So we have got a little bit more advanced, much more advanced, I should say, technologically. Our onboarding experience is much better, and we know how to develop them in the direction we need. So getting back to our P&L and the head count and the payroll, exactly as Maxim said, we have certain targets and we are very comfortable within those metrics. So we don't see any reason for this to grow percentage-wise as a share of revenue. Arthur, have I answered your question? Yeah, thank you, Dagmara. One final question then, a little bit more provocative, if you wish, about the margins. The margin of one retail versus non-one retail, quite clearly, given the frequency of purchases and the revenues they generate, it must be larger regardless of the product mix. So could you I really don't count to get any numbers from you, but can you get an indication to explain the gap that you currently see between one retail margin and non-one retail margin? I'm sure you have an understanding internally. Clearly, the margin is supposed to be higher given better frequencies, but maybe you can comment on the mix as well. Because obviously you must have more digital products with lower margins, but there must be some other drivers to offset that. So what's the margin upside, considering that the share of one retail customers is going to grow to 85% according to your forecast within 4 or 5 years from now? Arthur, let me handle the second part of the question up front because we're just pulling out one metrics, but there is more to there are more elements in the margin, both the product mix and the likes. One retail customers have a better margin, that's for sure. That's a driver which has been factored in all the factors that offset negative ones. And then over to Dagmara. Well, Arthur, I believe that's exactly a question that contains an answer as well. We wouldn't be able to put any further clarity on that, I'm afraid, in terms of numbering, but you have explained it, how one retail customers behave. So that's a good thing from my viewpoint. This says we have managed to explain really well how our system operates. Nothing further from me. Okay, good. Thank you. To make your life simpler, I could ask you this. If all customers of M.Video were to be one retail customers, what would your margin be? But I think I can predict your answer. Thank you for the presentation. Anyway, over to my colleagues then. Thank you. Next question from Alexey Filipov, JP Morgan. Alexey, you've been waiting for a while. Please go ahead. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yep. Thank you very much for the presentation. Very exciting. First about the relationship, the root cause relationship, very straightforward link with your GMV. The more one retail customers, the higher the average ticket, they will be spending more. So would probably agree that some customers need lots of electronics, others need it not so frequently. Probably those who need more are more likely to get connected to one retail and seek discounts. That's why you see better frequencies and higher average ticket. That's because this group is prone to more frequent purchases. But those who are less frequent needs to be more involved. And even if they get on the mobile platform, why would they buy more frequently if their needs are less by definition as compared to the frequent shoppers, the red circle core clients, which you have mentioned? Yeah, thank you. Sorry for taking too long to ask it. Yep, thank you, Alexei. Thank you for your question. Well, in fact, if we consider each client separately, and we have this possibility, we see different customers even within the red circle. Some purchase things more frequently, others less. But again, we live in the world, in the real world today. There is competition, of course, and customers may shop with us or elsewhere. And the thing is, as they get boarded onto the platform, it will be more convenient for them and more beneficial with the personalized price to work with us rather than anyone else. And the system operates in such a way so as to ensure that customers get motivated all the time to come back to us. That's the point. So we strive to make sure that part of those purchases made elsewhere, they now do with us. They now do the shopping with us because it's more convenient, it's faster, And that's the order which will be with them in a couple of hours if they so wish. So only we can do that thanks to our distributed infrastructure across the country. That's also about the personalized price that only we have. That's a unique development as of now, so on and so forth. So that's the first element. Another element. It may be a less of a relevant driver percentage-wise, but this gamification element of the personalized price, well, it motivates customers to purchase more frequently. Because of the gamification element, we know the customers and we can reach out to them with more information about new technologies and novel products we're launching. Given the fact we are experts in the field and we have the expertise and we have the information, so with one retail, we can easily do that. We can easily reach out to our customers and explain the bits and pieces which they would not think of otherwise. So that's another driver with the help of which we get the customers. And one last thing, really, we see this approach working thanks to the developments we already observe in terms of the frequencies, the average ticket, and stuff like that. So even though the one retail customer base is growing, we see these metrics not coming down. So this serves to prove the theory I'm sharing with you now. Alexei, have you answered? Yes, thank you. Thank you for a very detailed answer. And one further question, if I may, about the personalized discounts. I understand we're talking here about some very complex algorithms behind it, but just two or three major factors. How do I get this discount? Do you predict my income, which I'm sure you can? Um, do you see my loyalty or other drivers? Like I say, that's exactly why we need this additional analytics and data-driven solutions. Because there are no simple things. If we were limited to just these drivers alone, we wouldn't need a major complex mechanism. We could do that in an Excel spreadsheet. I'm exaggerating, of course. The thing is, there are dozens of parameters. And the thing is evolving constantly. If we're considering one set of parameters today, it doesn't mean it would be different next month. Our team is working as we speak. And the team is adding more and more parameters to the personalized price proposition. That's how it's developing. And that's the product-driven approach. It's not a thing limited in time. That's a constantly evolving tool, constantly evolving product. Okay, a quick follow-up, Dagmar, if I may. The rationale is different. It's very difficult to explain with some simple things. We, or rather the data science engine, sees that someone, I can share some very exciting thing. If the email is name dot last name at, then those people are different in terms of their behavior patterns. They do it a little bit differently. They browse the websites differently. We try various hypotheses. And then we pick the best conversion. Thank you. And one final question. You had a page on personalized prices. Can you explain the plan for the first quarter of 2022 and the major difference between the current situation? Oleg, that's probably over to you. The major difference is detailed segmentation. We can reach out to every person with predictive models. So with predictive models, we can reach out to client segments. So we can reach out with the help of predictive models in the longer term. So we'll be only using that in the first quarter of 2022. That's how it feels. Okay, thank you, Oleg. Over to our questions, like we are starting our third hour. So maybe we can do some blitz responses, given that our resources are still limited, although we can be answering every question. But let's move a little bit faster. Alexander Gnusaryov is asking how one retail compares to algorithms by the competition, such as Ozone and Wildberries. Do you mean price-wise? Yep. So we can try to guess what Alexander meant in his question. Generally speaking, and also price-wise. Difficult to respond without fully understanding the question, but speaking of the price, that's online monitoring. It's not rocket science. That's a clear story for I understand for everyone. Comparing one retail with what competitors do. Well, the key thing is about the growth of online sales and the key metrics as well. So the numbers are on this, the score is there for you. It's very straightforward. Okay, thank you, Dagmara. Next question comes from Valeria Mironova. Back about the staff, any increase in training, investment training with one retail? Is the churn high? And how do you retain trained personnel? I believe Dagmara has answered the first part of the question, but Dagmara, can you explain the churn and the retention? Well, since we're trying to do that quickly, with the churn, on numerous occasions earlier, we have explained we are the best in this industry in Russia and globally. So we have a very sustainable picture, no growth. In certain months, we even see lower churn as compared to the previous periods. Okay, thank you. Finally, last question from Maria Lukina. Please explain the digital dark store in a little bit greater detail, and namely the logistics. Would you intend to roll it out completely? What are the benefits? Is that any complement to your partnership with X5 Group? Frankly, I don't quite follow this partnership. Probably that's what we said as part of our COVID-19 response. Oleg? Yep, let me handle that. Maybe there is a slight misunderstanding. What is the digital store, dark store about? That's a digital product to start with, which enables us to ensure that once customers pick an express mission on the website, they can find the closest store where the client needs, like, connect that with express delivery services. This could be car-based, scooter-based, or even couriers on foot. So it's part of the system. And then a task would be assigned to the store. A delivery guy would arrive, all in yellow, hand over the product to them. And with our SLA of 120 minutes, 120 minutes, that will be delivered to the client. Currently, the digital dark store works with all M.Video stores, and we are rolling that out with Eldorado. Okay, superb. That's quite clear. Thank you. So we're done with questions, and I would like to thank you. If there is anyone raising their hand, let's wait for a moment. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everyone. I would like to thank my colleagues for the time they have dedicated at our request. And no, so we get thank you. Okay, from Rilkina. Thanks to all the listeners. We really appreciate your feedback, and we are happy to hold further events on similar subjects, webinars like this. So we'll try to increase the range of our discussions, trying to get away from the more standard reporting of results. So we'd really appreciate your feedback. So what can we do better? How we can view that with some other subjects. So on the 17th of August, we're going to have this standard disclosure call on our results. So that's it. To everyone, cheers and goodbye. Bye-bye.